A very good afternoon to all the participants. Today, my presentation is more of a thought process of what Takaful can do beyond what it is currently doing today. Currently, Takaful is a successful industry and it is gained its reputation very well as a Sharia compliant alternative to insurance. So today we are trying to see how Takaful can expand beyond the current approaches, whatever has been adopted by Takaful, and to see how it can expand further. So what we will do is we will go through the uh, principles of Takaful first, and then try to see where we can expand from there. What was the original intention of Takaful, and from there we can expand from there. And also we look at the technology and see how we can come out with a solution to our contemporary requirements, contemporary needs in the society actually. I put my presentation, this thought journey, into 5 parts. First, we will quickly look at what is Takaful and Ta'awun. We look at a quick look at the Takaful evolution and what is Ta'awun. Then from adopting Ta'awun to enabling Ta'awun, what I mean by that, what exactly do I mean by that statement? We'll look at it. Then we look at exploring the different levels of Ta'awun. Ta'awun or the cooperation or collaboration can happen at different levels. So we look at the different levels which it can happen. And we'll look at two examples. One example at institution level, the other example at the individual level actually. So before we proceed, Ta'awun, I think we take the wisdom from the Holy Quran. And Ta'awun actually means helping each other, helping one another, cooperate, collaborate. These are the terms which we can take as a meaning for Ta'awun. And so here it is look at the common purpose, common needs, and common needs of the people, and try to see how we can collaborate and cooperate together. So that's the intent of Ta'awun. Today's Takaful, if you see, it is always seeing most of the time we always see Takaful from a conventional angle. And even the Takaful industry also, if you see, it is more of a Sharia compliant alternative to the insurance actually. So most of the products and most of the approaches, everything, whatever has been adopted in Takaful, it is like trying to see how the conventional aspects, whatever the successful or good things which has happened in conventional, we are trying to adopt in Takaful by removing the haram elements inside it and making it into a halal actually. Is it wrong? No, it is not wrong. I'm not saying it is wrong. And it has been successful and it is good. It is going in that direction. But here we need to really ask a question to ourselves. Can Takaful do more than this? Is there any opportunity for Takaful to really break this mindset what we are having, or the self-imposed constraints what we are having, and try to do something different from what we are currently doing today? So let's look at the Takaful evolution. We all know about this. There were 3 haram elements in insurance, the riba, mesir, and gharar. To overcome these haram elements, 3 innovative approaches from Islamic finance and fiqh came into picture, which is riba is countered with mudraba, and mesir, the gambling, is by segregating the insurance, that is shareholders fund, from the insurance fund, to segregate it. And the third one is the insurance fund itself is converted into a donation fund. Instead of making it as an insurance fund, you make it as a donation fund, tabaru, and create a ta'awun among the participants, collaboration or the cooperation among the participants, ta'awun contract. So that we are, with all these 3 things, the mudraba and the segregation of funds and the tabaru and ta'awun, we are able to come out with a very good alternative for insurance in a different way. And this is how this industry has been successful. So later the Mudraba evolved into Wakala and the Wakala Waqf hybrids, and the variations are happening within this framework. So we really need to look at it. Are there any opportunities to look beyond this Takaful boundary? Because we have more or less drawn this boundary, and we are working within these frameworks and trying to come out with it. So let's look at how we can do something beyond the boundary, not without disturbing whatever is happening good. Everything is happening good here, but can we do something more and something different outside the boundary? So let's come to the topic. That my topic today is adopt Ta'awun versus enable Ta'awun. What do I mean by adopt Ta'awun here? You can see here. So what we did was, as we saw in the previous slide, we are trying to look at the problem with insurance and trying to overcome that problem by adopting this Tabaru and the Tawun concepts. So Tabaru we are using to pay the mortality costs. That means as a donation, Tabaru as a donation, our donation we are paying as the participants are paying mortality costs. And there is a Tawun contract between the participants that that means the Takaful, there is a contract with the Takaful pool or the Tabaru pool, the Tawun contract, which looks at the mutual protection. So this is what we have done it. So this is how we are able to overcome and the challenges with insurance and adopt the Takaful. But when we say enable, we are looking beyond the boundary and looking at the holistic gamut of Islamic finance and other things to see what can be done to really enable the Tabaru side of it and Tawun side of it, how we can expand. This is just an idea slide just to explore the thought process. If you look at Tabaru side of it, let's look at the left side of it, Tabaru side of it. So we can look at Sadaqah. Okay, that means Tabaru is like it's some sort of a mandatory contribution. It's like a compulsory contribution. Sadaqah is a willful or a voluntary donation, which comes into picture, which can be seen there. And is there any option for zakat? Though zakat has got its own rules and other restrictions. So is there any option for to explore zakat for a specific segment of the population? That we need to see it. Services donation, because some people may not want to give their money, or they want to give their money and want to also give some voluntary services. So it's a great thing to look at services, because in Mudaraba you have the two sides of it. One is the Rabul Mal and the other is Mudarib. That means people who are ready to give the services, actually, who have ideas and who are ready to give the services, actually. And the services is voluntary also. Those are the things. Then the Kardasan. Even Kardasan from participants is also a great initiative, what we can see as an idea, actually. And coming on the right side of it, we are always talking about Tawun among participants. So we also need to see what sort of Tawun is required among Takaful operators. What sort of Tawun is required between with the government to be involved. Because the government schemes and the private schemes are not gelling together, are not coming together. So we need to see how we can bring things together there. Then Tawun with Waqf and other partners, and most importantly, Tawun of participants beyond protection. Currently, we are enabling Tawun among participants for protection, for the main protection, that is your Takaful policies. But we need to see how we can enable the Tawun beyond the protections, current protection. So these are the ideas. So let's look at how we can implement this. I'm taking a few examples to implement this. So first, before going there, what I'm putting in this slide is, you can see that we can enable Tawun at 3 levels. One is an institutional level Tawun. That means the private public partnership and the different entities in the private public, what we can see, we can have it. So here we need to look at common objectives. We need to set a common objective. That means at a country level, what are the objectives, what are the challenges, what we are facing, and try to bring all the institutions together to address this. That's what the institution level. Then the individual level is the second one, which is beyond the current protection of Takaful. What can be done by individual to enable more Tawun among participants, or beyond the participants also, how we can look at it. And third one is the discretionary groups. This is a well-known area. I'm just giving a name here called discretionary groups, but this is a well-known area where we are forming different pools to address the specific purposes of a segment of people. For example, you can look at a separate discretionary group for diabetics to handle diabetic related problems and care and other things. And I think there are a lot of insurtech companies also have come out who focus on a specific area and then create a pool, and it works on it. And one classic example, as I see in Malaysia, it's a very good example. What has been launched is by the Pru BSN Takaful on the Khairat scheme. That's a very good example where for funeral expenses, it's covering funeral expenses, and they've partnered with Angkasa Mukmin for the funeral aspects of it. And it's a very good, very well designed product, and it is all distributed through the mobile. And they are looking at also, it's a good concept that contribution and Tabaru. They are looking at some sort of a postpaid Tabaru. That means contribution is paid, and only after the claim is declared, then the Tawaru is stripped from the respective contribution of the participants. So it's an innovative approach. It's one good example of a discretionary groups. Likewise, this can expand in a this well known to all of you and all. So this I'm not going to touch this discretionary groups. I will only focus on two things, which is institutional level of Tawun and individual level of Tawun. So let's look at the institutional level of Tawun next. So before we get into it, we need to first understand what are the problems we are having as an industry and try to set the objectives clearly. So once we set the objectives clearly, then we will be able to create, we will be able to enable the Tawun. So what I will do is I will try to put an example. I will take an example and try to run through the case, how it can happen. So as you know, the challenge what we are having is the insurance industry's main challenges is the penetration and the protection gap. So we are having challenges with penetration, especially in the B40 side of it. And even for those cases, for those of the people where insurance policies are sold, there is a huge protection gap. And as recently as a few years back, we had the study where the typical protection gap for a Malaysian family is around 700,000 ringgit is declared as a protection gap, average protection gap. So it's a huge amount. There's a huge protection gap which is there. So how do we address this, and how do we solve this penetration and protection gap by creating Tawun? This is what we'll try to see. So in this diagram, what you are seeing is I'm trying to see what is that universal savings and protection we need to look for actually. So if you look at the typical financial planning hierarchy or stack, whatever it is. So we forget about the debt protection. So every family usually will have the struggle of this contingency saving. That means how do they keep some money for the rainy day, like this COVID and all these challenges what people have faced with lack of money during these periods. So how to create a contingency saving fund, then how to create a basic family protection fund, which maybe the protection gap can be 700,000, but we need to look at a particular layer at which we need to make it as a common one actually. So this is what we call it as we can call it as a universal savings and protection. So which means every family requires a savings contingency and also a protection for their breadwinner. If something happens, then it has to be compensated. So it's a two requirement together. We have to look at it actually. So the same one, I'm trying to put it in a different way now. So you look at the pyramid here. So most of our Takaful work we are doing on the top side, where you are talking about the financial planning and trying to sell products based on the lifestyle of the people. So this is what is Takaful as alternative to insurance on the top. So here at the bottom, we are looking at the bottom. When I say bottom, it is not like it's a B40 people. We are talking about more or less everybody, exclude the super rich people. We are talking about more or less all the middle class and most of the people. They have this challenge that the protection gap is not fulfilled there. So we really need to look at a solution, a universal solution for this, where we have to look at in terms of a universal Tabaru, not a Tabaru which is owned by a respective company. We have to look at this as a Tabaru which is at the country level, which is professionally managed, and coming out with this universal savings and protection approach with that actually. And there is always a challenge now. There are people with different economic status. So how do we handle those things? We'll look at it. So here I'm just trying to set a vision here. So universal Tabaru and universal savings and protection. If you take Malaysian examples, as I just mentioned, so roughly around 700,000 is a family protection gap. A family protection gap. So we look at around 50%. So can we look at a vision where every family in Malaysia can avail easy protection? That means something which is seamless, which happens over a period of time. So we can look at an approach like that. So that's what we need to really look at and target that one. Of course, the numbers can change based on debate. I'm just giving as an example of 350,000 here. So now we have this variable challenge because some people can afford to pay the premium, some people can't afford to pay it. So we have these problems. So how do we make this happen? So the participants their contributions can be there. It can be variable contribution, like normal people like us can pay the full contributions, and donations can happen from our contributions fully. But those of the B40 and all the poorer or the lesser economic people, so those people can be funded with various means. It can be as a sadaka from richer participants, government subsidies. That means for every dollar paid by a B40 person, the government compensates with another dollar, something like that. So just to encourage people to save here. So that's what we can look at it from the government's perspective. And zakat and waqf, depending on the Islamic Sharia acceptance, whatever can come inside. And the surplus returns, whatever surplus returns also can be try to rotate back into it. So here, it's a key thing. It's a pure tabaru. It's not within the boundary of the takaful companies, and it has to be at the national level. So if you look at the distribution also, so currently we have a great opportunity because there is a lot of awareness about mortality and morbidity among people because of this COVID. And we really need to see how we can leverage on the My Sajahat app, which has been launched by the government. And you see the uptake of this app and amount of people who have subscribed and they are following it regularly. So it's a good opportunity for us to see how we can leverage on this and create an account on this itself to start protection from here. Because this app is already protecting people with vaccination and other things. So try to start expanding and just educating people, and then start from here to come out with some sort of a universal safety account on this app, so that this universal safety account, it can be mobile managed through this app. Why I am saying this app is because if you start creating a new app, again the penetration challenges will come into picture. Maybe you will have your own experiences with your customer portals or other things what you have launched in your companies. The mobile is good, but the uptake again is a challenge, because you still need to educate customer, you need to force customer to download the app. All these challenges are there. So since it's anyway we are looking at something at a global level or a country level, so we need to look at it. I think every other country also has similar apps which has been launched. Every country for their COVID management, they have launched these apps like this, so they can leverage on these apps to come out with it. So coming to this universal safety account, I'm not going to delve deep into the approach of it, because 3 years back I was focusing on the same topic in the conference. We have the slides there. I can share the slides later separately. So that's what we have seen the institutional level before, to see that how we can set a protection target for each family and try to see how we can achieve this protection target through a universal tabaru, universal safety account. Now let's look at the individual level now. At the individual level, here we are trying to see what is today's takaful and what can we do beyond takaful. It's not just takaful. You're not focusing on takaful. What can we do beyond takaful? Because what I'm saying is that there is takaful is it's based on the principle of tabaru and ta'awun, which means there has to be some sort of an emotional element inside it. But it is has become like a more contractual, not like emotional element is missing there. So we really need to come out with some sort of emotional element inside it. And we also need to enable the participants. So before we proceed further, let's go back to the wisdom from the Holy Quran. So it is important that we need to see how we can enable individuals, because I've seen many, means I've spoken to many people. Many people want to do some help, want to contribute, but they are somehow not clear, because their intentions are there, but the action is lacking because of various reasons. One is avenues; they don't have avenues to go and act, and also suspicion, saying that even if I pay, people will it will be misused or something like that, suspicion. So the two reasons. One is people don't have avenues sometimes, and also suspicion, because of which they don't want to take that initial proactive step actually. So how can we help people to take these steps is what we will try to look at it actually, and beyond that also. So I'm just taking a direct example. What you are seeing in this picture is a typical investment-linked product in a family takaful business. If you look at your investment-linked products, you have your fund A, fund B, your unit-linked funds, whatever is your funds, you will have it. And in addition to this normal unit-linked funds, we try to see, I'm just putting an example here, I'm putting 10% is put into a separate segment here now. So this 10%, I'm trying to put it as how we can come out with a musharaka with that 10%, how we can come out with my mudaraba, how I can come out with my sadaka and my services. Because the reason why I am saying is here, if you look at the fund A and fund B, the reason why participants go and invest into the fund is purely to look at returns. What is this fund? What is my returns? They're not bothered about, if it is Sharia compliant, fine, or else they don't go for it. If it is Sharia compliant, fine. So what is the investment returns is the only factor which is seen into it. There is no real participative element inside this investment link actually. So we need to see how we can create more participative society, and we have to see. And this I thought is one of the good approaches. Let's look at this in detail. What is this my musharaka, my mudaraba, my sadaka, and my services in the next few slides. And as I told you, these percentages are arbitrary, and this can be changed as required. So let's look at musharaka. So what I am saying with musharaka is, so today if you look at Takaful business, we have this Tabaru fund, we have the shareholder fund. So this we say it's two different funds. The Tabaru fund, shareholders don't have any stake inside it, and the shareholders fund doesn't. The participants do not have any stake inside it. But when you look at the Takaful company as a whole, so there are two different funds, and the shareholders' interest is on profits. The Tabaru's fund interest is on protection and also ensuring that it is insolvent. So there is two different funds, two different objectives. So this is how it is going. And we are looking at the surplus sharing. Okay, when a surplus, underwriting surplus comes into picture, we are looking at sharing of surplus with Takaful operators, moving to the shareholders fund. And there is a Kardasan which is moving from here to there. So it's always a debate there. So it's a simple thing what I'm putting here. Why can't we create a ta'awun between operators and participants by creating this musharaka element? That means till the contract is active, so I am paying a small amount as a musharaka, as a shareholder to the shareholders fund, and that means I become a shareholder with the whole company itself as a participant. So we can look at it, and it creates a common interest, and for sharing of underwriting surplus and Kardasan. So there is a common interest there because participants also will get back their surplus. So there is a common interest there, and reduces Kart if it happens. Okay, because the strain of shareholders' capital will be less because participants also will share the Kart through this approach. And of course, as the book grows, that means as the number of policies increases, these small percentages can be substantial that it can help in the shareholders. Very important is when the participant is exiting, so the amount is automatically redeemed or withdrawn. So instead of a unit-linked fund, I'm investing into the same Takaful company which is giving me the policy, and I'm becoming a small shareholder to the contribution what I have paid for the as part of that actually. So second is the mudaraba, my mudaraba. So what is my mudaraba? Here I'm talking about giving a discretionary power to the participant to really participate in the community welfare, because one of the key objectives of Takaful is not only personal welfare, we need to do a community welfare also. So how do we enable a community welfare from the participants? So participants can put a small amount percentage of their contribution into this Mudaraba, My Mudaraba fund, and from this My Mudaraba fund they have the discretion to transfer to respective other funds. That means they have this sub funds. We can create these sub funds. They should be able to create this transfer. So we are providing this avenue to the participants, and in today's mobile age, this can always be done. So once you give a mobile app to the customer and give a reminder that your Mudaraba is lying there, you can invest somewhere, and these are the options which we can expose them, and then we can help them invest there. So standard community funds, as I put down here, you can see it is like, for example, for example, I am coming from a town called Malacca, or I'm coming from a town where there is fishing is a more thing. So I can invest into fishing community, whatever is a fund there. So we can create fund. So here we are not talking about the share market funds. We are talking about a community funds or a cooperative funds, maybe high risk, but the key thing is we are talking about small amounts which can go inside, and it will benefit the society, and it can give high returns also. So, but this has to be encouraged from the fund side also, and also from the participant side also. Then the micro mudaraba. This is also a very powerful approach what we can look at it. So where we are talking about connecting the participants who need capital. for example, there is a hawker there. So if he knows that instead of going for a bank and taking a bank loan, people are ready to invest into his business. So he can go for an appeal saying that this is a business. I just want a 2,000 ringgit of capital for so on so equipment to be purchased. So there can be multiple participants who can subscribe saying that, yes, I am ready to pay from my Mudaraba to this participants. So this participants who are paid the money will become this Rabul Mal, and then the person who has taken the capital is a Mudarib. And it's a good opportunity once you enable this Mudaraba, once we are enabling this Mudaraba among participants, you can also protect both sides. So we are talking about protection for even the Mudarib and also for the Rabun Mal, both sides we can protect it. So that we're creating an economic opportunity and also creating more protection amounts there actually. So this is how we can look at expanding it. And very importantly, what we can do is this option also we can give it. That means as a Mudare, as a Rabul Mal, I can say that I'm investing, or I can also provide as a Kardasan. That means I don't want any returns. I just want to give it as a loan without any interest to this particular person. And once he makes the money, he can give back my money actually. So that's how we can look at it. It's also another noble thing what we can introduce in the My Mudaraba area. Next is the My Sadaka. This is directly donation, pure donation. So this can be seen from Takaful side in 3 ways what I'm putting here. So one is sponsor protection. That means we have less economic person who wants protection, so they can request for it, and this can be exposed to the other participants. They can use their Sadaka fund to transfer to the this person. So one request can be addressed by multiple people or vice versa, whichever way, till it is mapped and satisfied actually. So paying contribution for the participants who can't afford, that is one thing. Top up the claims amount. That means this is nothing to do with the contribution, but a claim has happened and the sum covered paid to the family is not sufficient and the family is in trouble. And if assessment has comes into the picture and if it is approved, then participants can see how they can create a top-up amount every month. So to help the family for the next few months, up to their choice actually. That is one thing. And of course, there are a lot of other related charities which can be opened up if these two are not available there. And the last one, what we are seeing is the My Services. This one it's very powerful if we are able to create it, because in today we are talking about blockchain and other things, but this is beyond Takaful. It has to be done at the overall country level. So where we really need to look at each person, each profession. Okay, if you're able to track all the skills, expertise, professional qualification, willingness to volunteer, okay, into a database, and also the permissions on a blockchain. So we have this blockchain with all the permissions ready, and this can really help to connect the participants based on the needs. Okay, this can be, we can take examples of people who are funeral volunteers, who are doctors, who are nurses, who are you can take a list. It depends on the skill and depending on the need, it's just a matching. People can do voluntary services. People can do fee-based services. For example, people who are plumbers and other things, they can't do any voluntary services. They will do. They can say, I will only do the fee-based services. Okay, in that case also is fine, but there is a database record there. And some people can do subsidized fee-based services. Okay, for if the cause is noble. So likewise, we need to really see how we can enable the Ta'awun among participants. Just to summarize here, this is what we discussed. So we have the unit link policy, and we are adding these 4 elements to it. So when you talk about My Musharaka, here we are creating a Ta'awun among participants and the Takaful company together and becoming shareholders of the whole company, so that the subtle conflict of interest which is there with respect to the underwriting surplus sharing and also the Qard, which will come into picture. So that reduces a bit. I'm not a Sharia scholar here, but I'm just saying that it looks a natural marriage, a good marriage if you do this actually. Second is My Mudaraba. Here we are talking about empowering the participants to see how we can participate in community welfare, and how we can means the participants can feel the happiness that they have done. Their money is helping the real poor actually, the real Mudarib actually. So that advantage they will get it. And the third one is Sadaka. It's a direct donation. It depends on the willingness of the participant, how much they want to afford it. And every month they can create a Sadaka fund from theirs, and then from the Sadaka fund they can transfer to the respective parties wherever it is required. And the last one is the My Services. It is mainly on the skill side, that which is nothing to do with the money, and where people are willing to give services for money, for a fee, or as a free voluntary services can be explored. So just to summarize, so when I say enabling, when we say enabling Tawun, so we really need to look at the current adopting Tawun, which is the Takaful Fund and the Tawun aspects of it. So we are going beyond it. At the institutional level, we thought of how we can, we saw an approach, how we can enable Tawun at the overall institution level, and coming out with standard protection amount, and solving with a collaborative approach. And at the individual level, how we can handle it. Discretionary groups, I think we all know how it works. Just before I end my presentation, just a brief about us. Athens, we provide technology-enabled solutions purely for insurance and Takaful industries. And since 1998, we have assisted a number of insurance and Takaful companies in core insurance, core Takaful transformation, including all the fund management of Takaful, the various funds and inter-fund management, everything we are handling it, and the digital engagement, which is portals, mobile, and all the other latest technology aspects of it. So our trademark solution is an end-to-end solution for Takaful, which covers all lines of business, family side and also general side, and all types of products, and end-to-end functionality is covered within the solution. And really thank you for giving this opportunity.